Thank you. Thank you. Thank, thank you. Please. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's great to be back. Gov, thank you very much for that introduction. We've been friends a long time, and I hope that continues for a much longer time. Folks, I think our best days are ahead of us. And Las Vegas, as we meet here today, I also want to thank the senator. I think I'm going to be calling her governor or United States senator or maybe vice president somewhere along the line. She is and those sneakers she bought, I tell you what, I'm counting on them working. Look, you know, as we meet here today, we have ample evidence clearly laid out by how of the serious and sustained threat that Donald Trump poses to our democracy. And, you know, when I announced I was running, no. Let him go. Let him go. No. Let him go. Let him go. I'm sorry. Well, folks, that's okay. Look, that's how far we've fallen. When I announced I was running, I said that we were in a battle for the soul of this nation. I said our core values, our very democracy was at risk. And I doubt whether anybody here today doubts that to be the case. Folks, we have a president who's violated his oath of office, a president who has put at risk our national security, a president who may, and that would be the decision of the Congress to make, may have committed a crime, and a president who used the power of his office and your tax dollars to try to persuade a foreign leader to once again interfere in a presidential campaign. It's pretty clear that he will stop at nothing to hold on to power. And after 70 straight polls have shown me beating him, I think it is not surprising that I become the object of his attention. Look, in the weeks and the months to come, it's the Congress's job to pursue the facts and to hold Donald Trump accountable. In the meantime, my job, our job, is to make sure, above all else, we beat Donald Trump. You know, this country can overcome 4 years of Donald Trump with some great difficulty. There's been a lot of damage done at home, and assuming in the remaining year of his term, if he's in for a remaining year, that, no, I'm not being a wise guy when I say that. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But the fact is that he'd like very much for me to focus on his mistakes, what he's done, and his focus of battle between he and I. This is not about me. This is about the American people. This is about every major publication in America and around the world has indicated that his assertions are just flat dead wrong. But again, it's not about me. We'll overcome this. This is fine. My family handled this. But I'm worried about all the families and all the lives that are at stake in this election because of his failure as a president in terms of the substance of what needs to be done. He wants to hijack this election so that we're not going to focus on your lives. So we're not going to focus on issues that relate to health care, education, rewarding work, not just wealth, gun violence, climate change, immigration, all the things that I think that are the reason why, at its core, above everything else, why he no longer deserves to be President of the United States of America. And look, I'm not going to let him do that. This election is about the American people and the issues that matter to all of you here in Nevada and throughout the United States of America. And I'm going to make sure that Donald Trump loses and you win. You win. Folks, you know as well as I do, we have to rebuild the backbone of this country, the middle class. And this time, bring everybody along. Everybody, no matter their background. Wall Street didn't build America. You built America. The middle class built America. Unions built the middle class. And folks, look, ordinary Americans doing extraordinary things are the reason why we've been able to accomplish what we have. Given half a chance, the American people, and this is not hyperbole, have never, ever, ever let the American people down. But look at where we are now. The middle class is hurting. Most families say that if they've received a bill for $400 in a month that they didn't anticipate, they'd have to borrow the money or sell something. Today, the middle class is shrinking. You know, growing up, my dad told us when he was in tough shape that the job is about a lot more than a paycheck. A job is about your dignity. It's about your place in the community. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your child in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay. It's not a number, it's a value set. It's a value set. You can hear the economists that work for me say, well, middle class is 52,100 or 54. It's not that. It's a value set. It's being able to own your own home and not have to rent it if that's what you wish to do. It's being able to send your kid to a decent public school so that if they do well, they can go beyond either the trade school or community college or beyond that. And you figuring out if they can do it, how you can afford to get them there. It's about being able to send your kid to a park they're going to come home safely. It's about being in a position. It's about being in a position where when your geriatric dad passes away, you're able to bring mom home and hope your kids never have to take care of you. Have a little breathing room. That's what being middle class is about. Just a little bit of breathing room. And folks, we have to rebuild it. The fact is that, you know, I'll never forget the time my dad, like many of you maybe, and many people you know, when Cole died in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where I was initially raised, I remember him making what I refer to as the longest walk any parent can ever make, up a short flight of stairs, to say to their child. I remember sitting on the end of my bed in my grandpa's house, saying, Joey, we can't live in our house anymore, the apartment we had. You're going to be here with Grandmom and well, my grandma passed by then. You're going to be here with Grandpa, and Dad's going to go away. I'll be away for about a year. I'm going down to Delaware, where he had been as a kid when he was from third grade on until he got to Scranton when he was a senior in high school. And he said, there's good jobs down there, honey. I'll come home every weekend. It's only 157 miles. I thought it was the end of the world. He said, I'll be home. I'll be home. And he said, but everything's going to be okay. And he meant it because he knew the system worked in a way that, in fact, if he tried, take your coats off, guys. If, in fact, he tried, he could, in fact, do it. And he did. He did. He made that walk. But how many people today have made that walk? How many people today have made that walk? How many people today that are able to look their child in the eye and say, everything's going to be okay? Ladies and gentlemen, today, less than half the parents in America think their children will be able to accomplish the same standard of living they have. That's never happened before in the lifetime of any of you sitting here in this square. Never happened before. We're no longer the wealthiest middle class in the world. You know, millions of people are worried about their children being in a better shape. And guess what? Children are worried too. Millions of young people worry about how they're going to live the American dream with the student debt they've acquired in order just to get to school. In fact, we worry about how they're going to be safe. Little kids worry about how they're going to be safe in schools. Think about it. There's greater anxiety among kids between the ages of 7 and 22 than any other sector of the American economy. They're more worried. Our kids. And they have a right to worry because Donald Trump has turned his back on the families and the American dream. You look, fewer Americans have health care. Manufacturing is in recession. The auto industry is shedding jobs, all due to Donald Trump. And we have to fight. We have to fight for the issues that matter to every single American. You know what Donald Trump has done. I'm here to tell you what I will do. And I intend to lead an effort to heal this country and, quite frankly, heal the planet. Folks, first we need to finish the job on health care. I was proud to serve as Barack Obama's vice president for 8 years. But never more than we passed the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act was a huge step forward in this country. It made historic progress by extending health care to 20 million Americans who didn't have it before. It, in fact, protected 100 million plus Americans with pre-existing conditions and said, you will now be covered. But we have to finish the job right now, folks. We have to make health care a right, not a privilege, and give everyone a peace of mind they deserve. That means, for me, providing a public option. Under my plan, if you have insurance and you like it, you get to keep it. If you don't like the insurance that you have or you don't have the insurance, you can sign up for a public option. My plan reduces premiums, deductibles, out-of-pocket costs, increasing subsidies for middle-class people to be able to buy in. If you're eligible for Medicaid, you automatically are enrolled in health care under our plan. So I say, and I'll say to the drug company, we're going to lower, Medicare should be able to go out and negotiate drug prices now to reduce the prices. And I say to the drug companies, from now on, abuse of prescription drug prices will not be tolerated. You will not be allowed to raise the drug price beyond the cost of inflation once it has been approved. Ladies and gentlemen, my plan, I believe, is the fastest way, the most cost-effective way to reduce the cost for Americans, cover everybody, and I'm going to plan on protecting and building on Obamacare, and I'm not going to let anyone, Republican or Democrat, take it away, period. Folks, to rebuild the middle class, we need to increase education. We have to remake education in this country. My wife's a public school teacher. Now she teaches at a community college. She's there, well, she's not teaching today. She just taught and left to go out to California to help me campaign. Look, everybody knows 12 years is not enough for an education in the 21st century, and we got to start earlier. That's why all we have to do is increase Title I. It's a program for at-risk schools. Increase that by threefold. We can provide every single child in America from age 3, 4, and 5 to be able to go to preschool, and all the studies show that will significantly increase their prospects. We're also going to make sure that, in fact, those who have student debt will not have to pay back that student debt if when they graduate they make less than $25,000. And if they do make more than that, nothing will change. If they do make more than that, we drastically cut their interest payments. And if they go and do public service, their debt will be forgiven. And third, we have to start rewarding work over wealth. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump inherited a strong economy from our administration, just like he inherited everything in his life. And now he's in the midst of squandering that economy, just like he squandered everything given in his life. There used to be a basic bargain in the country. If you contribute to the well-being of the outfit you work with, you got to share in the benefits. That doesn't happen anymore. Corporate profit has been going through the roof for the last decade. Ladies and gentlemen, what have they done? Have they increased salaries? Have they made further investments? They bought back $1 trillion of their own stock. They rewarded their stockholders in cutting stock in price in half and doubling the price by buying back their stock, as well as that's how CEOs get paid. It used to be, about 20 years ago, CEOs got paid something like 31 times the average employee in their corporation. Today it's 400 times. What happened here? We got to change it. And one of the ways we're going to change that today, there is no reason why. There's no reason why somebody who is a school teacher, a police officer, a union worker. Nobody should be in a position where they pay a higher tax rate than a multimillionaire. And that's why I'm going to double the capital gains rate to 40%, what they should be paying. Teachers, nurses, more taxes on the super wealthy, but no cuts in taxes for middle class people. Folks, I'm going to try to get through this quickly because it's hot out here. But folks, the fourth thing that is an absolute national emergency is guns. Folks, nobody knows that better than the people here in Las Vegas. Gun violence is now the biggest fear factor of our children. They're worried about being shot in school. That's what they go to school. That's what the studies show. There's more anxiety, people between 7 and 21, worried about they're going to get shot in school. What in God's name are we doing? I'm the only guy that's ever beaten the NRA nationally, and I beat him twice, and I'm going to beat him again. Folks, I come from a big gun-owning state. Ladies and gentlemen, the Constitution doesn't say you can own any weapon you want. The Constitution doesn't say anybody can own one, no matter who you are. There is a limitation on the Second Amendment. It says that you cannot give a weapon or sell a weapon to somebody who is incapable of dealing with it or has a violent background. Well, folks, what's happening now? We have to have universal background checks. Secondly, if you talk about, these folks, some out here in my state talk about the tree of liberty is watered with the blood of patriots. Well, if you need weapons and protect yourself from the government, you better go get an F-15. You better buy yourself, a fighter jet. You better go out and get a bazooka. The idea that an AR-15 is going to protect you from your government, come on. There's no rationale for that weapon. Even the fact is admitted by the majority of the people who are members of the NRA. I've been to too many times meeting the people, the parents and the children who have lost parents or parents who have lost children in mass shootings. I was in Sandy Hook where that horrific shooting took place. Never forget the eyes of those parents who lost their children. I made a commitment to them that I'd get these weapons off the street and pass meaningful gun legislation, and I will not stop until I've met that commitment, period. And third, lastly, we have to confront the real existential threat that we all face. We have to declare war as if we're being invaded on climate change. It is the existential threat. In the first 100 days of my presidency, I will, in fact, first of all, immediately rejoin the Paris Climate Accord, which we helped put together. And I will call all of the members of that climate accord to Washington, D.C. to raise the ante on what we have to do, because it's not enough what's being done now. The United States makes up 15% of the cause of global warming. 85% of it is out there. This climate change, meaning other countries, if we did everything perfectly, which we can do, we still are going to have a serious, serious problem. So, folks, the climate plan I propose will ensure we achieve 100% clean energy and net zero emissions by 2050, but in the meantime, by the year 2035, will fundamentally change the direction of all of this. Folks, I'm going to build 500,000 new charging stations so that we have electric vehicles, that in fact we own the market again. We consistently cut down on emissions. I'm going to provide tax credits for electric vehicles, for you retrofitting your homes, advances in battery technology, all these things that will drastically cut the carbon footprint in half by 2035. We're going to provide incentives for retrofitting every existing building to make homes and appliances more efficient. Look what's happened in the last decade alone. Wind power, the cost of it has been cut in half. And for solar power, it's gone down even further. My plan will make historic investments in clean energy and research technology. We're going to invest $400 billion in the first 10 years to make sure that we, in fact, lead the change in technology that has to occur in this country and export it to the world, creating thousands and thousands of jobs. And, folks, I'll immediately roll back the climate damage Trump has done. I'll restore the fuel economy standards that even the industry agrees on, saving billions of gallons of gasoline. I'll stop telling California and other states that they have to lower their standards. I'm going to demand all 50 states increase their standards. Folks, but let's face this, none of these plans matter if we don't beat Donald Trump. And just as important, we'll never restore the American dream if we don't unify this nation. Look, we can. That's why if we're going to get anything done, we have to start to work together. I'm tired of walking around with our heads down like, woe is me, what are we going to do? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the United States of America. We are better positioned than any country in the world to own the 21st century. Not a joke. Our workers are 3 times as productive as workers in Asia. We have more great research universities in America than all the rest of the world combined. We have the largest economy in the history of the world, and if we invest in our people, no one can challenge us. No one. Folks, there's not a single thing we can't do if we do it together. I'm more optimistic about America's future than I was when I got elected as a 29-year-old kid to the United States Congress. You know, my friends are tired of hearing me say this for the last 35 years or more, but I remember the one line in John Kennedy's speech when he decided we were going to go to space, we're going to go to the moon, the one that meant the most to me. He said the reason we're doing it is because we refuse to postpone any longer. I refuse to postpone one more day, not taking advantage of what we can do. This is America. There's not a single thing beyond our capacity. Remember who we are. So let's get up and take back this country. Take it back. Folks, everybody knows who Donald Trump is. We got to let them know who we are. We choose unity over division. We choose.
Nor do we put our own interests above the interest of others. It is